And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for stopping by if it's your first time. Just want to start off. This is my 1 week, 100 miles on the Navi video. Gonna just run back through my experience. New rider. Doing this to kind of show what a new rider's experience would be like on the Honda Navi. For me, in Ohio, you have to have your motorcycle temps to ride this. I'm going to assume that it's going to be the same way across most states. The temp test was fairly easy. Go to your local BMV, DMV, pick up a motorcycle book, study it. There's online practice tests that you can typically find for your state. I do suggest after studying the book that you take a couple practice tests until you feel comfortable that you're landing the practice test correctly. Then go down and take your test. But after having your temps, you are free to ride. Here in Ohio, there's some stipulations, like I can't have a passenger, I have to have a helmet, no night riding, no highway riding, which for what I'm doing, all of that stuff is fine. It's not that big of a deal. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my time with the Navi on this first week. Like I said, started off, it had been 24 years since I last rode a motorcycle, and the last one I rode was a dirt bike. So never really did on-road stuff. But picking it up on that Saturday and doing my first ride, I was real wobbly. It's akin to riding a bicycle. Like, you got to get your stability correct. But after you've been on it for a little while, you kind of just get the feel for it. The first couple days, I was progressively not wobbling nearly as much. As the week went on, I started to get a lot more comfortable. Actually being able to remove my left hand from the handlebar. The first couple days, I was not comfortable taking my hands off of the left handlebar or handle grip for basically anything unless I was stopped, which caused some issues because, like, if my nose started to itch, it would bug me. Still getting used to that, not being able to just reach up and, like, brush something off of your face. It's a weird feeling having the helmet on. But by the end of the week, I was 100% comfortable. I was able to get the bike up to, my max speed. The fastest I was able to get it during this first week was, I believe, like right around 47, 48. The first couple times that I was braking 35, getting close to 40, not knowing how to deal with the wind, it was something that was a little scary. But 7 days in, well, 6 days technically, because I didn't ride it all on Thursday, the wind wasn't an issue anymore. I was able to maintain my stability on the bike. I could drive headlong into the wind at my back. Crosswinds really weren't bugging me like they were the first 2-3 days of riding the Honda Navi. But just progressively as the week got further along, the easier everything became. Turning was a learning experience on how to lean the bike and lean your body, putting pressure on the handlebars. But that's something that comes with the more practice that you have. Again, like I said in my first video, I do suggest that if you have a large a school or a shopping center that might not be busy at certain days or certain times, just go and ride around in those areas if you're starting out. The school over by me helped me out tremendously. It's being that open and being able to just ride and see everything, so you know if anybody's even remotely close to you without, a blind intersection or anything like that, helps build up that confidence a little bit. But by the end of the week and going into this next week, I'm absolutely loving it, and don't see me using my car for too much of anything for the next 3 to 4 months. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about what I like with the Navi. So this being my first bike, just the general idea of the bike. It's small, but not super small. You'll actually see here coming up, I had a bunch of people at work wanting to look at the bike. They thought it was smaller than what it actually was. It's a really good size for just starting out. It's easy to stop, put your feet down, get started back up. You're not having to worry about holding up a massive motorcycle. It's a fairly light motorcycle. The little storage bin, I've only used it once officially for, transporting something, but I was out, realized, hey, I forgot garbage bags and butter. I just stopped by the store, picked up garbage bags and butter, and threw them in the little container and rode home. It's just big enough to fit those small things that you need. So if you're using it as a daily driver and you got to run to the store for something, or you got to stop and pick up food, the container is more than large enough to take care of, small things from the grocery store, or like a small meal for one or two. Drinks would be a little awkward, but I'm sure you could do it. One of the other things that I am really liking about it is the fuel efficiency. I haven't officially done like what I'm getting, but since I've had it and I've done one whole week, I've put $4 in it. And I'm going to have to put something in it probably here in the next day or two, but you'll see in a future video. Did actually a pretty long ride on Memorial Day, and that used up quite a bit of gas. But, I mean, for $4, well, to be fair, $2.07 got me through the whole work week. That's what I had to put in on Monday. And then come Saturday morning, I was just above the E line, where it starts to do the little indicator section. And I put another $2.50 into it. Not a whole lot. So I'm like $4.60 into gas right now. Now I'm going to talk about a couple of the things that I'm not a huge fan of with the Navi. So one of the things that I am going to talk about that I dislike is the shocks. The shocks on this standard are pretty rough. There's some give, like they do what they're supposed to do, but if you buy a Honda Navi, I do suggest right out the gate upgrading your shocks. It's one shock in the back. I have mine on order, just a heads up, which I'm going to be talking about here in just a couple seconds. Lead time is kind of a pain with a lot of this stuff, so I think it was like a 3-week lead time. So kind of going along with the shocks and the ride, and it being a comfortable ride, definitely want to do something with the seat. The seat is kind of, it's a stiff seat. After the long ride that I did today, I'm not gonna lie, back was a little irritated, but talking with my brother-in-law and my sister, they are both under the same consensus that the seat needs some sort of upgrade. So if you know how to sew, you can modify the seat yourself. You can order seat covers. But that takes me into the next part of my dislikes, and that's aftermarket parts are kind of a pain to find. There's only a handful of mufflers, and they're super expensive, and they're constantly sold out. Some of the other parts, like I was looking at some variators and the clutch. Most of them are sold out or on the more expensive side. But then, like, you can't buy another seat unless you buy, like, you order from, like, Honda or something. So you can only get seat covers. There's not a whole lot of aftermarket parts that are also made for these types of bikes. And because these bikes are becoming so popular and so many people are wanting to get them and then modify them, the parts that are out there sell out fairly quickly. And it's kind of a pain to find a lot of this stuff. Like, I'm looking for the luggage rack, and I'm probably going to have to stop up at the Honda dealership and see if they can order me one. Which brings me to the last thing that I kind of dislike, but this was the experience in total purchasing the Navi. I put together a custom Navi on Honda.com. Because of the price of the Honda Navi, you can't finance the Navi on Honda.com. It's just, it won't allow you to do it. It just kept telling me to lower my down payment. My down payment was set at 0. Couldn't go any lower. So I wasn't able to get the bike the way that I exactly wanted it. Right here, a couple of guys were wanting to check it out and see how it felt, because none of them have bikes. And after them sitting on it and taking a look at it and me kind of pointing out some of the things, 3 of the guys this day were like, yeah, I think I'm going to go down and see about taking my temp test and getting, a Honda Navi. It's like, it's a cool starter bike, and its price point is right. The accessibility with it being a automatic is super awesome. But kind of going back to the parts issues, you can get a lot of stuff over at scooterswapshop.com, but a lot of their stuff is sold out because there's a lot of people that are doing the mini moto stuff, and especially the Honda Navi because of the price point. So it's a little bit of a pain there, like, because there's things that I want to do to the bike, I just can't because I'm waiting on the ability to get the parts. So now my recommendation: if you've never rode a motorcycle and you want to get into learning how to do it, for the price point of $1,807 before tax, fees, and all of that other stuff, this is the ideal bike to start with. It is super easy. Once you can keep your balance on the bike, there's zero issue with the size, the speed, and the maneuverability of it. I'm able to do a U-turn a week after learning how to ride a motorcycle in like a parking space and a half. I would have never expected to be able to do that on a regular motorcycle a weekend, but this teaches you the basic skills and abilities that you're going to need to ride any size motorcycle. The only thing that it doesn't teach you is how to use the clutch, because there is no clutch of being automatic, but that also helps with the fact that that's one less thing that you have to learn when you're learning to ride the motorcycle. So if you want to learn all of it, you can start off with the Navi, not have to worry about learning a clutch, and then once you're comfortable in traffic and riding alongside people, you can upgrade to a newer bike or a larger bike that has a clutch and learn at that point. So I would highly recommend, if you are even thinking about learning and you want a cheap and quality starting point, the Honda Navi is by far your best option. And I couldn't have planned this any better. I picked up the bike on Friday the 19th. Didn't get to ride it until Saturday the 20th. And this is the following Friday. I believe it was the 26th. And if you look right here, pulling in after work, I end the week at exactly 100 miles on the week. Thanks for stopping by and watching my 1 week review of a new rider putting 100 miles on his first motorcycle. Take care. I hope you enjoyed the video.